I don't know why this reminds me of high school, but like when you're serving, so especially when you're in Form 1, Form 2, like you're serving everybody. And bro, like on Sundays, man, on Sundays in my school, they used to have meat. Like they actually used to put meat in the stew and stuff like that. So I used to be very, very willing to serve on Sundays. I used to like time it so that I'm the one serving on Sundays. And then I used to like, because I knew how to like finesse. You know, everyone is watching you closely, but you just know how to like finesse so that like, you know, like, because what you're supposed to do is serve yourself last because you're serving people.
You've made a lot of excuses without saying the corrupt stuff you're doing. That's all I'm hearing. You're making a lot of excuses for your corruption.
I can't lie. It was so corrupt of me, bro. But like, yeah, I used to make sure I save myself. Like,
look what they had us doing in high school for meat, bro. For meat, for protein.
Yakato bina la rumba, kuja tucheze siroe. Chalari chalari chata, chalari chalari siro, chalari chalari mama. Bolingo yanga na yoshiro, yako vandisa pembeni nanga. Zela zela, mokomboso azanga mokila e. Zonga zonga chérie, yaka yaka baby e. Ozalo kola makila, yako bina pembeni nanga. Bina loketo, baby baby.
What's going on? What's up everybody? Welcome to the 30% podcast. This is episode 102. I am Sam Are. I go by Are professionally. I am here with my co-host, the magnificent, the wonderful Mr. Afam Efuna. Afam, what's good?
Yo, what's up? I'm here.
Yeah.
We're in here.
And that also was Baba Trio. Baba Trio Mio.
Oh, yo, listen. Baba Trio is actually fire. Listen, I don't care what anyone says. I think Baba Trio is fire. He has talent.
On this tip. No, I'm so sorry. I'm going to veto.
No, he has talent.
I mean,
unfortunately, he has talent.
Unfortunately,
so, listen, when I saw the news, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a train wreck. And to be honest, like the other people in that song are horrible.
Oh, no.
Baba Trio actually stood out. I was like, wait, this is some shit. Like, I was like, whoa, I'm actually enjoying this
Baba
vocal
Trio
performance. Anyway, that's just me.
Oh,
Baba
man.
Trio.
No, that joint. That okay. You know what? All right, I'll give you a little bit. What he did on the track was really interesting. I've never had Lingala or Lingala sounding tracks on Amapiano. Like that's a new genre for me. So that's fire. But I don't know if I can. And when I
hear that, I'm like, yo,
there's something
this
here.
Is where Trio gets his musicality.
Yeah, oh no, man. I don't be knowing. But anyway, yeah, man. We're here. This is episode 102. And
yes, sir.
Let's start with you, bro. Or should we start with me? Because this week, I don't want to bore the people. I've just been chilling. I've been chilling. What have you been up to?
Okay. Easy. Even me, I haven't really been. Have I done anything this week of
both
note?
Boring the people then.
Not really. I went to it was a talk. So an associate professor was having a talk called Sounds from Other Shores. And this was in Manhattan. And he was just talking about Taarab music in Mombasa. And just kind of like how essentially how it's really influenced from a lot of different cultures. So like Indian culture, Arab culture, and just like how all of those kind of like merged to bring out. And then also there's the Swahili culture in Coast. And he's like just how all of those cultures kind of intermingled and merged to produce this music that they listen to a lot, especially like in wedding ceremonies and that type of thing. So it was actually interesting to listen to to it. I think his name is Professor Andrew Eisenberg, if I am not mistaken, and he's lived in Kenya for years. He showed videos of him 20 years ago as a youngin on an expedition. Essentially, he got a grant to go to Coast and study the music, and I think he was studying some one of the legends in that genre of music out there is, I think it's called Zayn. Unfortunately, he passed away. And yeah, it was just one of those really like academic things. Academia is so interesting. It's so interesting,
especially in
how
the music side, like that. Those are two things that it's a very weird combination, but.
Yeah, so that's the most interesting thing I did this week. Got to learn a little bit more about Taarab music and how it came to be. How about you, bro?
That's fine. Like I said, man, if I don't know, this week has been full of like just running around and errands and chilling. I don't even know what I did, if I'm being honest with you. There was a bunch of shows that I would have wanted to attend, but I wasn't able to. But yeah, man, it's just one of those weeks. I guess we chalk it up to the game of life.
Chalk it up to the game, bro.
Get into what we're talking about this week.
What are we talking about, Sam?
Yeah. Let's start with speaking of Sam.
I see what you did there.
Speaking of Sam, so we all know if you're cultured, if you are in any way tethered to the ground, if your roots are firmly planted in Kenyan music, if you touch the streets regularly, you would know an artist called Samidoh.
Hey, that was a hell of an intro for Samidoh. Okay, wait, that sounded like shade from my end. And
no, that's not shade. It's not shade, man. It's not shade.
I didn't mean that in a shady way. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, it definitely isn't shade. So Samidoh is a Mugithi artist. If you're familiar with his music, Samidoh is actually interesting. I never knew about him. There was back then when we were doing stuff for like Soul Generation, and he came in for a recording. And I remember the person I was working with was like, Sam, I'm like, yo, bro, that's Samidoh. I'm like, fam, who is this? But then everyone already was like flocking
legend
around
in
him.
The game.
Like everyone was flocking around this guy, and I had no idea who he is. Samidoh is a low-key legend, man. Like he's a.
Have you seen the numbers he puts up on YouTube, bro? Not to say that numbers is equivalent to success, but no, bro puts up some legendary numbers.
I mean,
he's
almost like at 500k subscribers. He's for an artist who doesn't necessarily push on social media. That's big. But we're talking about him. On today's episode of people in the industry behaving badly, story came out about his former manager. Samidoh's former manager, Moses Marite. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. And the accusations are... So his manager went on to accept payments for shows that I guess Samidoh hasn't performed at. And he didn't inform the artist, right?
Shock! You want to tell me that an artist manager was finessing their artist? Wow,
who would have thought it, right?
I don't
it's
even
crazy.
Know.
Yeah. So basically, it's been accused of like there's a missing like 100,000 deposit, and. I mean that's basically it, right? The manager. First off, let me start by Samidoh is he's like more on the ground type of artist. Like he's probably in clubs a lot performing. He probably performs at events more than pushing like the digital side of things. So this is him, taking shows and being paid for shows and stuff like that. That's his bread and butter, right? So this would be a huge thing for him. Yeah, man, him and Samidoh have been they've been in a, from the reports, they've been like in a relationship for a long time. It's one of those come up with your artist type thing. So it's just really unfortunate. It's a sad one. It's a sad one. This is let me. I just say this and then I'll pass it off to you. It's something that I think we've talked about quite a bit, and I've had conversations with other people outside of like other podcasts who talk about like Kenyan music and stuff. And I think one of the things that we've talked about that we really need is accountability. Like that word is huge in the industry, and just people being held to a standard of just doing things the right way without trying to finesse and, gain for themselves, and it in turn affecting the artist. Yeah, man, I don't know. It's crazy that these stories keep coming out. I do hope that things... I don't know what you think. I do hope that things...
Just to... Sorry, go ahead.
No, yes, I'm just saying I do hope that things pan out. I'm hoping that as the industry, as we keep seeing like these stories come out, that it steers us in a positive way. Not that we're just seeing stories and it's all clicks and, it's the talk for the next 2-3 days and then we pass it on. But yeah. What's your opinion on
I was just
this?
saying it's sad to see that they apparently have been in school, like they were high school friends, and this relationship has essentially broken down, but like that's a long lasting relationship. And okay, I can see here it says that he was formally arraigned at the Baricho Magistrate Court on 22nd of October. So yeah, I guess he was accused of fraudulently collecting deposits. Bro, listen, it sucks. Essentially what he was doing was skimming from the top, because I feel like most of these deals is just like, we want you guys to perform, we'll pay you guys up front, and then usually people will do 50% or what, like 2/3 or something like that, or we'll pay you 65%, 70%, and then once you guys perform, we'll pay you the rest. And bro was just taking the deposits up front and not saying anything.
Oh man, I don't think he was investing it into Samidoh's career either. It doesn't look like that was a...
Oh, no. That wasn't going into company expenses, bro.
Expenses.
Unfortunately. It reminds me of high school, bro. Listen, high school. In high school, we used to like... I don't know why this reminds me of high school, but like when you're serving, so especially when you're in Form 1, Form 2, like you're serving everybody. And bro, like on Sundays, man... on Sundays in my school, they used to have meat. Like they actually used to put meat in the stew and stuff like that. So I used to be very, very willing to serve on Sundays. I used to like time it so that I'm the one serving on Sundays. And then I used to like, because I knew how to like finesse. Everyone is watching you closely, but you just know how to like finesse so that like because what you're supposed to do is serve yourself last, because you're serving people.
You've made a lot of excuses without saying the corrupt stuff you're doing. That's all I'm hearing. You're making a lot of excuses for your corruption.
I can't lie. It was so corrupt of me, bro. But like, yeah, I used to make sure I save myself. Like,
look what they had us doing in high school for meat, bro. For meat, for protein. They had people running cartels for protein. That's crazy.
And then I'll never forget one of my housemates, but he was also in Form 1. Bro was like, Afam, I know what you're doing, but he couldn't prove it. And I was like, okay, which is bad. This is bad. Do not
my
do
goodness.
Things like
you might as well be bro's manager.
But yes, high school stories. Anyway, but yeah, that sucks, and it kind of leads me to question, Sam. How do you avoid these situations from happening, or is it even impossible? Because you could take all the like necessary precautions, but if somebody decides to finesse you or screw you over, they're gonna find a way. What do you think? What's like? How do we stop things like this and stories like this?
I mean, for an artist, it's getting the best way to do it is, I guess, to get your whatever it is, your agreement with people, your contracts, to get that backed by some sort of legal document.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way that you can enforce it. If you're going off friendship and vibes, when something goes wrong, and I've been in that situation, you've been in that situation a lot of times where you go off like, just bro, everything's going to be good, like me and you are solid, and then you end up getting finessed. And you can't really do much except like bring your guys, because it's not really backed by law. Law is really what keeps a lot of things in check. Of course, now our law in Kenya is not like completely up to date. But
wait, sorry to interrupt, but does this mean like, as an artist and a manager, you guys need to have separate legal representation, right?
Well, that's a decent point. It does. Okay, for an artist, what's usually said is, for an artist, you need to have like your own separate legal representation.
Yeah.
Like don't take the lawyers. I mean, don't take the label's lawyers. Don't take your manager's lawyers.
Yeah.
Don't even take another artist's lawyer. Sometimes have like your own personal lawyer. Of course, if there are not many around, then you have to figure out how to make it work and get a good guys, because there are good guys around though. But yeah, man, you need, so that's part of it. Like, you have to have your own personal representation, someone you can go to with questions. And like, one thing people feel sometimes they do is they have a whole bunch of questions, but you don't want to keep like texting your lawyer and bombarding them with questions, because you don't want to seem, sometimes it's ego. You don't want to seem like you don't know a lot, or other times you just don't want to seem like you're a really nice guy. You're just a really lovely guy, and you don't want to seem like you're disturbing, or girl, you don't want to seem like you're disturbing the lawyer. But it's really important to ask questions. When I got a legal representation, sometimes I just randomly be shooting him questions, things that just pop up into my brain, and that really helps bolster your understanding of the music industry and all of that. That's really important. Get stuff done the right way. Don't think having a lawyer is an expendable expense. A lot of people consider it like the last thing. Oh, if I have money, then if I have like extra money, then I'm going to hire a lawyer. That sometimes ends up messing the artist in the long run.
A lot of so here's another question. So my second thing was gonna be like, okay, make sure your legal representation is on lock, and also you try and make sure that the people you're working with are like solid people, right?
As much as you can.
But now here's the thing, so my argument was gonna be like, so you see how like Musau and Butros, actually, side note, I saw they posted something on Instagram, and bro, these guys have been at it for 20 years, like trying to like get to where they are now. And Musau just put a very heartfelt post. You can go and look at it in your own time. And it's just like very inspiring to see that they came up from having to be paid for fare to go to Alchemist to perform for free to where they are now. And I just saw that post and I was like, that's mad inspirational. But seeing this story and seeing that Samidoh and his manager were also, it's a similar type of story. They came up from school together and everything. That kind of sucks, because it's like knowing somebody for a long period of time doesn't mean that you wouldn't get finessed at some point.
No. Unfortunately, not.
Who do you trust, Sam? Who do you trust?
Who do you trust? Trust nobody, not even yourself. What the way I look at it is, like, if it's between friends, like if it's between someone who you've grown up with, you've been through the trenches, you've walked to Alchemist, you've begged for whatever, and then you've made it. Like, having contracts it's not how do I put this? It's not a negative.
It's not only reserved for like a completely corporate, like a professional relationship. Even a friendship that becomes a professional thing needs a contract. Oh, is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, I mean, well, that's one angle of it, and you're correct. But I think what I'm trying to say is, having a contract is not like it doesn't indicate that the relationship is not strong enough to handle those things.
Oh, yes,
business is business, and friendship is friendship.
I'm laughing because this is exactly the type of conversation people have when they're what do you call it? What's the thing? The prenuptial agreements.
Yeah. When you're getting married and you're like
in the beginning. Yeah,
Is that the same thing?
This is
though?
exactly the same thing. Because it's like it's not that I think we're gonna get divorced in the future,
Yeah.
but
So what Afam is saying
Yeah,
that he's
it's
going to
kind of
get
the same.
his in favor of prenups. So anyone who is planning to marry Afam better have your own
no,
bag.
Sam. This is how the media spins things. When did those words come
That's
out
what you
of my
said.
mouth?
That's basically- it's
when did
basically what
those
you said.
words come out of my
It's
mouth?
basically what you said, though, right? Let's just agree that it's basically what you said.
It's not. I completely disagree.
Afam
Sam
agrees.
just put words in
You
my
guys have
mouth.
heard it. Afam agrees. So
But hey, prenups do make a little bit of sense. But anyway,
yeah, well, prenups only make sense if you have like something to prenup. Like if you're both broke.
yeah.
I mean, anyhow, that's besides the point.
Anyhow,
But yeah, so having a contract
we're
with
two unmarried people talking about married
marriage, look at
people
us,
issues. Anyway,
experts.
go ahead. Sorry.
Having a contract between friends. In fact, that sometimes
Yeah.
helps with the friendship because then you guys know
Yes.
that if anything goes wrong, you have something to fall back on rather than start bickering and fighting,
real.
and you already have an agreement. Yeah, man. Listen, if you have friends, some people do handshake agreements and it works, but sometimes it doesn't work. You know, it's just more advisable to always
Yeah.
have things set in stone so that when stuff like what happens with Samidoh and his manager, there's less running around and, you know, fighting and bickering. You could just hold up papers and say, hey, the law backs me up. So, yep.
So hopefully things get sorted out.
We'll add this to the
and
list
it
of the
goes to
things
show-
that we're paying attention to.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
But it goes to show that these problems happen like on just all levels of the industry. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, man, you just have to have your wits about you.
Shout out Samidoh, a legend.
And prayers to everyone involved. Okay, so I wanted to talk about another very successful artist in the country, BN. I mean, it's hard not to talk about BN when he's out here doing a bunch of things. And one of them is he recently performed at the Koko in England. I believe it's in Camden, and its capacity is about 1,500. I believe he performed with Matata and Joshua Baraka also. So shout out to Joshua Baraka. It's really nice to see his growth, man. But anyway, so apparently the performance went down very, very well. People are saying that the last thing he said on stage was "Ruto must go," which shout out to BN for repping the Ruto must go movement.
man.
But anyway, that aside, he's apparently the first East African act to sell that specific venue out, which is cool. It's cool to see Kenyan acts out here. So apparently 90% of the audience, or like a large percentage of the audience, was Kenyan or African from the diaspora, which is cool.
Yeah.
And then also coupled with just seeing the heights that KC is reaching in his career. Obviously, you see A$AP Rocky reposting him on his story.
Yeah.
You see him on the
the radar
radio with the
freestyle.
Kenyan flag on the
And
microphone.
that's so
mixing
G to
genres.
me. That's so G to me. Like to be at those heights and really not
Yeah.
care. Like repping your country to the fullest like that is that I think
And sonically as well,
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
genres
But-
that he's pushing.
exactly. Like if you guys haven't heard it, his on the radar freestyle, it's just a very cool interpretation of what's like the blend between, you know, him being primarily a Western artist in how the music he makes, but then still also holding that origin story in him, kind of like that's cool. Like just go check it out. It's pretty inspiring. But yeah, sorry, you were saying.
So the question I want to ask you, Sam, is like how. So I feel like the way things are going, things are ramping up. You see, like we can see Kenyans doing big things in these international stages, but like, when do you think we'll see like now the the finished product of that, you know? And do you think it's gonna be Kinabien, or do you think Kinabien are like, if we're getting biblical, they're like Moses and them, you know, like getting us to the promised land, and then like now the next person is gonna
Moses
be
didn't
the
get to
one
see
who,
the promised
like
land.
with the pathway.
Huh? I said Moses didn't get to see the promised land. Are you saying something about Bien? Is
No,
Bien Moses?
I'm not. I'm just saying, and this, bro, you're being the media today. Anyway, I'm just saying, is it a case where like, okay, Bien is the one who's gonna do it, or is it a case where, you know, they're setting the groundworks, they're laying the groundwork for these things to become a possibility, and then an artist who, I don't know who it's gonna be, is gonna just use that framework and then just like
benefit from it,
10x it, and just benefit from it crazy.
I think, okay, yes and yes. I feel like our industry is very, very, it's not big enough for us to have multi-generational artists already. Like everyone seems to, I don't want this to be controversial, but we are more level than we would think in terms of the highest heights to, I think it's easy. It's easy enough for most people to attain those heights in the industry. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. It's not very difficult. But people like Bien, who have been around for a long time, and some of the older acts, not just him, but some of the older acts, of course, they have more legs. They have more history. They've done this for a longer time. But I do think that they're not, what we're trying to achieve is not unattainable for like a smaller artist. That's what I'm trying to say in so many words. So with that being said, I feel like, yes, they might be laying the groundwork, but I feel like they also get to benefit from that. It's not too far off.
Nice.
Yeah, it's not too far off. But then ultimately, if we do what we're trying to do well and trying to, make this industry work, that's going to take some time. Like there's a lot of things that are involved. The systems that we need to build apart, and those are linked to powers that we don't completely have control over. So that might take some time. Resources that we need, culture that we need to further the music industry. We haven't developed that yet. So that might take some time. So with that in mind, I think maybe they might not benefit from it fully. And the ones who are coming up now, the younger artists, the newer artists, might be the ones to actually benefit mostly from that. Yeah.
Sure. And yo, guys, listen, if you all want a comprehensive answer to this, listen or hearken back to our episode where we kind of addressed this. It's called We Cracked the Code. So it was like five podcasts ago. Listen, we'll be doing research up here. But Sam, I wanna task you. You just at top of your head, I'm gonna give you 10 seconds to answer this question, and you just have to say a name. I know this is so.
I'm tired of this quizzes.
I'm putting you on the spot.
We didn't start this podcast for me to be quizzed every week.
But listen, Sam, I'm sorry. It just has to happen. I gave you the Moses analogy, right? And we know the person who eventually ended up leading them in was Joshua, blah, blah, blah. Who is the person who's gonna get to the promised land? Obviously, you've just mentioned that Kinabien or just the people who are already there will get to like benefit from the fruits. But who is the one artist that you would say who's coming up right now in the industry, who's gonna like take this thing? We'll just take this thing to the max. They'll use the pipelines that Kinabien are laying out and just go crazy. Sam, give us your prediction right now. 10.
Baba Trio.
9. 8. Wait, who?
Baba Trio. You know what's crazy about that? You know what? I was just thinking about this. We never see. This is a little bit left, but we never see.
No. Sam, okay, fine. Go ahead.
We never see.
I know you're delaying the inevitable, but go ahead.
Let me go. We never see. I haven't seen it, of the child of an artist blow up and then the parents come after that. Like, that's a new thing. They're starting a whole new. Actually, no, we've seen it. I just saw it recently with Hit Boy and what he's been doing with his dad. Free Big Hit, by the way.
Yeah, but it's more tasteful. It's more tasteful because this one, Baba Trio, is a little bit. He's
okay,
kind of.
no, see,
apparently
you're picking him up and then now you're throwing shade.
Hear, huh?
So you're picking him up now. You sound like you're about to throw shade. Don't do that.
No, from what I hear, apparently he was a bit of a deadbeat. From what I hear, this is all alleged. This is just from the tabloids and stuff. But that's what they say. I don't think it's the same thing for Hit Boy's dad, although he was, I believe, incarcerated for a long period of time. But I don't think. I think their relationship is it's in a good place compared to the Baba Trio and Trio himself. But anyway, Sam, you were deflecting from the question at hand.
As far as I'm concerned,
8,
I answered that question just
7,
correctly.
6, 5.
You're not putting me on the spot.
4,
oh man, I don't know.
3. Just say a name. 2. Just say a name. Any name. 1.
Any name. I already said one. You didn't accept it.
Now's the time.
You didn't accept it.
What's your answer?
You say it because I'm done. I'm done with you and your quizzes.
No, just say a name. Just any name. I just say a name.
All right, one of the many names. I'm going to say Martin Gessa.
Oh my God, you didn't have to preface it with that. Okay,
Of course I have to preface it with that. I'm not about to get into trouble. You've been talking about the media all episode.
No, Sam, how will this get you into trouble? Literally, you're saying that you believe that this person is going to be super successful. So how will you even get into trouble?
You're thinking about it like that. I've thought about it deeper. Okay, I said it earlier. One of the people who I think would really push, who can really push our Kenyan music forward is... Actually, I'll name 2 people. One would be Martin Gessa. I think is brilliant. With the right management, right production, everything. I think he can go really far. The second would be a group. Now, these guys, I think they can get there. We have many. It could be we could really push and revive that boy band sound, and I think it's Watenda Willie. I think they have it individually and together to be able to push, but there's a lot that needs to go into, curating that. But I really think they're.
Oh, see, this was nice. This was a nice exercise, and I like your answer.
All right, you obviously have to go now, right? And
no, I don't. I asked the question, so me personally, I feel like I'm exempt from this. Moving on to the next
look what we're doing. All right, man, let's move on. Oh, speaking of,
okay, no. Okay, no, that's mean. For me, I would say a name, a singular name, and I have to be
rep for the ladies.
If we're rapping for the ladies, man, bro, I believe in TG Black so much. I think TG would take us out of here. Who else would I say? I mean, Njerai, if her and her team like do the thing.
Yeah,
I feel like Njerai has a good ceiling.
Universal is pushing with that. They just released the Sioni remix visual, which was interesting. Yeah. This is interesting to see.
Those are my answers. All
right. Cool picks. And I don't disagree with you.
Okay, listen. In 5 years, guys, if you're listening to this 5 years from now, if Njerai, TG Black, Watenda Willie, or Martin Gessa are super successful and like doing big things, it's solely the only reason it happened is because we said it's gonna happen.
Not because of the team's hard work or luck or industry connects. No, it's just because we said it on episode 102. Yes, sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm taking full credit of their success if it happens in 5 years.
Just so talking about shows, just a little bit. We remember we had mentioned earlier that Kanye West was supposed to be around.
Yeah, but it's Kanye, bro. Kanye is neither here nor there. I don't even know if Kanye knows what he has planned in a month. Huh?
Yeah, Kanye doesn't know his schedule for tomorrow. And
I don't think he
if
does.
he knows it, it will possibly change. That's the thing about him. But we need to see Kanye, man. He was supposed to come and perform, bro. What was it? He was supposed to rent out. Which stadium was it? So there's some stadium that he was supposed to rent out and fill it to the brim.
I think it was Kasarani or Nyayo Stadium. One of them. And he was supposed to do a show.
Yo, Kanye, please, bro.
That's gone really quiet, man.
Please, man. Kanye is probably the only person I would pay like a whole bunch of money to see. Anyway,
I miss the old Kanye. Yeah, I mean, that would be epic. For an already stacked Q4. Bro, Sam, apparently, well, these are the shows that are lined up for the end of the year. So Sean Paul confirmed he's going to be performing on 1st of December. 7th December, I think Zuchu and Rayvanny are going to be performing. 21st December, that's when Soulfest is going to be happening. 22nd December, there's going to be Blankets and Wine. 30th December, Burna Boy, which is also confirmed, is going to be performing. 30th of December, Mario and Ali Kiba are going to be performing. And 31st of December, we're going to have the talented Shensia performing, which is insane. It's an insane show run. I mean, I feel like there's something for everyone.
Yes. Oh, is there?
Are you going to be... Yes, there is something for everyone.
Local names, though. I would like to see. I mean, of course, there are going to be more local names in performing shows. But
Soulfest is going to be
holding it down.
Obviously, Sauti Soul.
They're holding it down.
But they're also doing a bunch of urban tone guys.
Yeah. No, they're going to hold it down. So they said that they're trying to do.
They're holding it down. So there's going to be a bunch of local acts on that. So.
There are no local artists left for the other performances. But no, that's cool. Yes.
No, I not confirmed. I don't know the lineups in the other shows to be fair.
There's something for everyone, man. So it's going to be cool. Prepare your monies.
Yeah, Sam, which one are you attending? You have to go for one of these.
Kanye, see? See, that's why I want Kanye to
This is the podcast where I put you on the spot, bro.
Easy pick if Kanye was part of it. Yeah, you just put me on the spot. Let me see. I mean, honestly, I'd probably just go Soulfest.
Yes, I think Soulfest is your best bet, man. Soulfest sounds... It's always a vibe. Always a vibe. Let's see. What else happened in the news, Sam? I mean, we've already kind of talked about Baba Trio Mio.
Yo,
there's...
I'm watching his career. I want to see what happens with him. Maybe Viquest should work with him now that he's with Universal. Could be an easy...
Or maybe me. Hey, listen, I might try and make a Lingala slap.
Yo, you've just unlocked it. Afam, hit up. Yes.
I should hit up Baba Trio.
Please, I need to hear an Afam and Baba Trio collab.
Easy. Consider it done. I'm joking. I was gonna say. There's this comedian Murigi, who released like a drill song with Antweezy, and he got a little bit of backlash because like some people are like, oh, you need to just stick to your lane and like stay with the comedy. There's a lot of people saying like, yo, people can have diverse interests. People can want to make music, want to just express themselves artistically in whatever medium they choose. Other people are like, nah, like just kind of stick to your lane. Another artist who goes through this a lot, and I've realized or noticed it, is Lil Maina. It's very divisive, especially of late. So Lil Maina has like a cult following for sure. Like a bunch of people will just... There's a bunch of kids who will eat up whatever it is he decides he wants to do. They will completely back him. But I sometimes go through like the comment sections on his videos, or like even the comment sections on social media, and a lot of them are just like, like it's Lil Maina, blah blah blah. He's trying to be an artist, etc. So I wanted to ask you, Sam, like how do you transition from doing something and then doing
pivoting
music? Yeah, and like what's the correct way to like make sure you're not stepping on your fans' toes, or like people will accept you in this new space,
Yeah. Number one, and this is Sam's thoughts only. You can't do that 100% correctly. There's no way to get that right. As when people get invested in you, they get invested in you in that form. So if he's doing comedy and he got a lot of his fans through like that comedic rap, comedic music, there's a lot of people who are invested in that, and that for them is who Lil Minor would be. Okay, let's actually take it away from him. That is who you would be as an artist, right? So when you switch, you're fundamentally going against them and what they believe you should remain as. So there's no way to do that 100%. But I think ways to sort of make that transition a lot smoother is, number one, I guess, to take... I don't know if this is 100%. Maybe you could correct me on this if I'm not 100%. But I feel like you could, if you take what you're doing, the new form, the new genre of art you're doing seriously, and focus on gaining a solid group around you, a solid fan base. I think that helps. If everyone is not going to rock with you on both sides, it's very beneficial to gain a crowd where you're going and not necessarily stick to the old one. I don't know if that makes sense.
And I think you have to also fully commit.
Yes.
You can't do it halfway.
Yeah, take it seriously.
You can't say I'm just doing this for fun or whatever. You have to, cause bro, like even me, like in my personal experience, like with this podcast, Sam, I think you'll agree. Like from us starting as producers and stuff, we had to fully there's no way to do podcasting halfway.
Yeah.
You have to really like dedicate your life to this shit if you want it to be successful.
Yeah.
So you just have to fully commit when you're pivoting, I feel like, which is, sometimes people want to like straddle both like worlds.
You can't do that because one of them will suffer.
But like, yeah.
One of them will suffer.
And that's what's happening with Lil Minor, because I feel like he's more, I feel like now he's more, he's tending towards the artistry more than the comedic stuff he used to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
just
hard.
I guess another way you could possibly make that transition smoother is to try your best to bring along as many fans as you can in how in what you're doing. So it could be something as simple as just connecting and see, an artist is a persona, right? And so if you break through that, you're able to connect with the fans a little bit more, which means that there's a higher chance of them attaching to. Now, if they attach to you as a person, it doesn't matter what you do. You might have a higher chance of them sticking with you throughout whatever ventures you go into, whatever forms of art you decide to create. So it's doing things like that, just breaking down the barrier between you and your fans and being real honest with them, not necessarily like sappy or always going and crying on social media, but then just being real, being a real human being. That increases your chances of keeping the person rather than just having a fan. Emotion is really important in art, and if you're able to trigger emotions, if you're able to tug at heartstrings, then you can do a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well said. That was actually very well said. Is there anything else in the news circuit this week?
We could get into new music. I don't think there's anything else that we could cover.
Yeah, let's get into some new music. So what I was listening to this week, I want to shout out my boy Spinks Mafia. He released a video to his song Fire Emojis. This song features Sleaze KE. I really, really like the video, and Spinks never fails to impress. I was gonna say Spinks never fails to disappoint, and I realized that's horrible. No, he never disappoints and he never fails to impress. Anyway, almost got my words wrong. So shout out to Spinks Mafia. I also listened to let me see. Sabi Wooski Wapige Kelele, which was interesting because it's a departure from his regular sound. And that's one thing I always appreciate Sabiwu for.
Yeah.
He's always pushing the boundaries and he's always trying to grow into different sounds, and he's trying to just experiment. And this sound from the way I hear it, it's very inspired by Rema and that type of sound. But he's trying different things. And that's, for me, I like artists who do that because they're not only just trying to go one lane and just be safe and stuff like that.
That's fair.
So yeah, shout out to Sabiwu. I also listened to Controller by Genesis and Soundcraft. I really like the beat to that one. So I think they did a good job with that. I also listened to, I think this is the last one I'm going to say. Yes, this is the last one I'm going to say. I listened to Memories by Femi One and Boutros. So shout out to them. But the thing that was interesting was on social media, Femi One.
Yo, are you going to bring up that whole thing?
With Ochungulu family.
Oh, no. I was talking, there was a random guy who was cloud chasing. At least I thought it was cloud. Did you see that?
I actually don't know about that. For me, what I'm talking about is, so there was apparently she released a song way back in the day. And Ochungulu family made a comment. I don't know who runs the Ochungulu family page. So that's obviously Benzema, Dimore, Nelly the Goon. But anyway, they made a comment where they said, "Big fan, she's the kind of female rapper Kenya needs, seeking a Femi One." So I assume the comment was on a song that was featuring a different female rapper. And bro, she kept those receipts and she was just kind of going hard and saying that okay, I'm here in the industry now, and where are Ochungulu family?
Yikes.
I mean, I think they broke up, or I haven't had them releasing music in a while. So anyway, that's just, it was just ooh. I don't know why, but beef, artist beef usually just sparks something within me. Maybe I'm toxic. Am I the problem? Anyway, Sam, save me from my own self and introspection.
Yeah. What am I going to highlight? Just going to let that go. I want to highlight a couple of Un's tracks this week.
Yes, sir.
I'll start with Idaziz. Idaziz was the first artist we played when we started playlisting some of the songs we pick. By the way, we have a playlist, the 30% podcast official playlist on Spotify. We should make an Apple Music
Make
one.
sure you'll go peep that.
Yeah.
Actually, stop the podcast right now. Look for it on Spotify and just listen to it by force. Go ahead, Sam.
Retention. I found retention. You're actively telling them to leave.
No, but it's the end of the podcast, so the retention is good. Already.
No one cares. Anyway, so we played Idaziz, and Idaziz, of course, is a frequent collaborator on a lot of Afro House tracks. This week he did a song called Kitu with Dele Habibi, if I'm pronouncing that right. Nesmburu dropped. Oh no, still on Idaziz. So actually, I jumped off my own train of thought. He released a song called Fatuma, and this is really interesting because I think for the first time in a long time, I would say he's dropped a single track where it's not him featuring another, or him being featured on a track, it's his track, and it's called Fatuma. It's a really, really, really interesting track. It's what we know Idaziz to do, but I thoroughly enjoy that. Kitu with Dele, I mentioned that. Nesmburu came with Niwewe. That was also interesting. And I think the last Un's track I would like to highlight is Exotica by Munyasia. That was pretty cool too. Enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed that this scene is thriving, and we're getting around to Un's season, December, and the crossing over and just the different festivals. So yeah, man, love to see it. We love to see it. That's what I will highlight this week, I think. What do we play?
We love to see it, man. Speaking of things we like to see or we love to see, wait, there was also Personal by Nviri and Kivumbi King that came out. So shout out to them.
Yeah, Nviri is releasing some music. He's been hiding. It's coming out now.
He's been in hiding by his so I want to highlight this dude. He doesn't release music as much, but when he does, I always, my ears always perk up because someone who's been releasing music for a while. And Ekumbo, he released a project called Central Bank of Kumbo, aka CBK. And I was bopping my head. Majority of the tracks, if not all of them, I don't know, I can't confirm, but I think majority of the tracks were produced by 19. So 19 is so fire, like really fire, really good trap producer, and they have a song on there that I was vigorously bumping my head to, and that song is the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. I thought Ric Flair was like the standout track on that project. And Sam, if you would permit me, if you would be so kind and so benevolent as to allow me to play the song Ric Flair for our listeners in this end of the podcast section, I would greatly appreciate that.
Oh my goodness.
Sure. So yeah, this is Ric Flair by Ekumbo, produced by 19.
Ric Flair pants, I got my bands up. New $dollars, my money, wait up. That little shot of your problem, she tryna fuck around in my bag. I can't even see the bottom from where I'm standing out right here. That's my twin, we know Siamese. You caught a nigga, my brother. I got new money, new problems, ain't no way I can relate with y'all niggas. I got hotter with the vengeance in my sis. I got Molly and some gin, can I kill you, bitch? I'm gone. Step outside, man, my feelings till I started up my pace. And I'm pimp, you can tell by the way a nigga talk. I got racks on me, bitch. You can tell by how I rock. And my new bitch got a little mad cause I don't pay attention. Had to swerve on the bitch, had to curve, nigga. She say I'm pretty, it hurts, you can cry a little bit. Told him break a leg, where you acting up, Niggas acting tough, but we know you soft, you like that. Let me see some, my little breadcrumb. I'm on X Games, she like me or something. With my coat on, put my bitch on. All that shit I took, swear I'm too on, let's go. Ric Flair pants, I got my bands up. New $dollars, my money, wait up. That little shot of your problem, she tryna fuck around in my bag. I can't even see the bottom from where I'm standing out right here. That's my twin, we know Siamese. You caught a nigga, my brother. I got new money, new problems, ain't no way I can relate with y'all niggas. I got hotter with the vengeance in my sense. I got Molly and some gin, can I kill you, bitch? I'm gone. Step outside, man, my feelings till I started up my pace. And I'm pimp, you can tell by the way a nigga talk. I got racks on me, bitch. You can tell by how I rock. And my new bitch got a little mad cause I don't pay attention. Had to swerve on the bitch, had to curve, nigga. She say I'm pretty, it hurts, you can cry a little bit. Told him break a leg, where you acting up, Niggas acting tough, but we know you soft, you like that. Let me see some, my little breadcrumb. I'm on X Games, she like me or something. With my coat on, put my bitch on. All that shit I took, swear I'm too on, let's go.
That was Ric Flair off of his project Central Bank of Kumbo by Ekumbo, produced by 19. Yo, Sam, another successful episode of the podcast, if I do say so myself. Always enjoy producing this audio experience, this journal, might I say, this diary that just puts down the happenings of the Kenyan music industry and just tucks it in as in a page in history. You know what we're doing? We're just putting audio pages of the Kenyan music history. You know, are you on my wavelength, Sam? Or am I just yapping?
You're yapping, but you're yapping sense.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You're yapping sense.
Save me from by yapperoonie.
Yeah.
What am I doing? Anyway.
Oh goodness, can we end this? Guys. Can we end, please?
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for listening to this podcast, and I like to leave you guys with the 3 C's. Confidence. Make sure you're really, really confident in your art and in your work. Confidence is what sells, and confidence is what makes people want to listen to you and listen to what you have to say. The other C is craft. Always work on your craft because, the small increments that you do every single day will ultimately lead to your success. If you can improve by 0.5% every day, eventually that's going to add up. And the last C is consistency. I need you guys to be consistent with your work. Not telling you to release every day or every week, but if you set out to release music every 3 months, make sure that's a thing that you do. Make sure your rollout strategy is compelling when you start it, and make sure it's consistent. And bro, you're gonna see the gains. Because I say these words doesn't mean that they're things that I am perfect on. They're also things that I'm working on in my own life. And I think I crafted these 3 C's because they're things that I also need to improve on. So it's a journey that I guess we're both, you and me listening to this, like we're all going through it. We're all trying to improve. Sam.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Preaching to the choir. So for me, and for those who are listening, clip this up and send it to whoever that person who you've been talking to who really wants to be an artist but feels like that time might have passed.
Yes, sir.
It's never too late to start your career. It's actually never too late to start anything. In terms of art, right? Art is not dependent on age. Some of the greatest artists started when they were later on in years, and we've just seen many people start music careers later on. Who was it recently? Jelly Roll, I think his name is Jelly Roll, who I think it was like 39, 40, where he started getting recognition, and just when he's picking up, like it can happen anytime. What matters is
anytime.
Yeah, what matters is how bad you want it and how much you're willing to work to make it happen. And yeah, man.
Work.
All right, ending it on a Rihanna note. Bring Drizzy into everything. Yeah,
I've gotten to the point of the podcast where I'm just saying shit. Sorry. Yeah,
episode 102, man. Go out and be great. I'll see you guys in episode 103.
Go out and be great. That's what, you know what? Go out and be great. That's what we're ending in. I love that. Go out and be great.
Go out and be great.
We out.